Stephen Marcano of the Impact Boxing and the Impact Network. Hey, Stephen, how you doing?
Hey, how are you guys?
I can't complain. Can't complain. So how's everything going? Obviously, we will start off. Obviously, you've been a producer of many different things. What got you into boxing?
I've been in boxing for a long time. We actually started in boxing in 1996. I was 20,
Okay.
20 or 22 or something like that. When Mike Tyson was special guest referee for Vince McMahon, I put that together.
Oh wow.
It was WrestleMania, I think 15 or 16, and had a long, good
That was
relationship with Mike.
up in Boston. I'm a big wrestling guy myself.
Yeah, so when that happened, I put that together, and that was my first entree into dealing with boxing. Then in that was like 96. Then I didn't do anything in boxing until about 2004. And we actually did a deal to manage Floyd Mayweather's affairs outside the ring with a company called Enrage Sports Management. Me, Neil Menagis, Lewis Hendler, and Eric B from Eric B and Rakim.
Who's a
We did
big,
that
who's a
together.
huge boxing guy.
Yeah, so we did that together. And then after that, in 2006, I started doing a lot of work for Don King for a while. And then 2012 or 13, I was the money behind, not the money, but I was the person who put the money together for Mike Tyson when he started IMP. And then 2014, we started Knockout. And there still was more TV. So everything I was doing was more like a broker, agent / television executive. And then once we started doing the live fights for Knockout, I was like, hey, you know what? Let me just keep doing this. Let me actually be a full service shop. So that's how I got into boxing.
Obviously, with everything going on in the world, that hasn't stopped you. Obviously, I see you on social media. You've been in a couple airports over the last couple weeks, so you're wheeling and dealing. Talk about that you establishing some great content for your shows for the past couple weeks. Talk about that.
Realistically, I created Stars and Champions, but I don't run Stars and Champions daily. It's daily ran by an attorney named Rick Torres, a writer named Ryan Burden, and the producer and director of the show is actually the president of Impact, and his name is Royal Jackson. So they call me, they send me clips, they show me what's going on. I take a look, I go, hey, that's cool. And Ryan and Rick and Royal have actually been booking a guest, and I've been extremely happy. They had Leonard Ellaby as the first guest. I like that because there's some synergy with us and TMT to do some fights together in the future. And then the week after was Ryan Garcia. I like that because I just like the young man. And we're also doing some things possibly with Oscar De La Hoya's Golden Boy, hopefully. So that was another synergy. And this week, Sean Porter, friend of Sam Watson. So that's another, hopefully, road we can go down in the future and do some PBC joint collaborations on Impact. So everything that we're doing, and we're just trying to really be like the open book in boxing, and we're lucky enough to get super great talents and champions and stars.
It's funny. I think you're reading my notes here. My next question was about, you mentioned Rick Torres, longtime boxing guy. He's a guy who's done many things. He's managed some fighters, been an attorney. To talk about him, Rick, I've known a long time, and talk about what kind of an asset he's been to you so far.
Well, Rick has been with us since day one, since Knockout. Rick's been the lawyer for Knockout on every network we've been on, and Rick is just intelligent, smart, great guy. Love to work with him. I'm not a mind reader, but I wouldn't put it past. Let me try to fix this hood because I keep letting it go. I wouldn't put it past Rick in a year or two if Rick is probably the president of all this. He's definitely in line. If put like this, if I wasn't there, Rick would be right in my spot.
Yeah, Rick's a good guy. You talked about liking and wanting to do the actual events. Kind of I guess scratch you a little bit after doing the knockout thing. You've had one event so far before the pandemic kind of closed down a lot of the in
Mhm.
fact with Austin Trout. Tell me about that show and how that went.
Show sold out. It was great. Austin's a pleasure to work with. We love Austin Trout at Impact. Austin will be back. Um, we had Alonzo Big Zoe Butler on the show. That was incredible. Zoe's fun. He's just a real fun guy. We got David Rodriguez. He's actually doing he actually was amazing. He was amazing help with our press run. Um, we had a couple of young kids. Three of them stand out. Abel Mendoza, TJ, the answer. I forgot TJ's last name, and Brandon White. Those guys stand out. I think those are three young up and coming superstars, and I'm really going to try to keep supporting them on the network.
You mentioned David Rodriguez. So I have a great, and he's also a friend of mine, a great color analyst, and BJ Flores. He's actually probably one of the best color analysts out there. Work on NBC. How much credibility when you have a guy like BJ Flores who a lot of the TV people have given him such high praise for his work coming up.
When we went and got BJ to do commentary and to be a color analyst, I saw BJ on NBC and I saw him other places, but I really never paid attention. BJ was just, put his heart in every fight. I looked at BJ more so as a great fighter, and he put his heart in every fight, and he really had a great career. And when he was like, "Yeah, I want to work with you," I already knew him, and I knew he was capable because I saw him on NBC. I didn't look at tapes, and I didn't go through a screening process. I was like, "Yo, let's try this." And of course, because I EP'd the fight, I looked at that fight, and I was extremely impressed with BJ. But between us, me, you, and the fans, and the people listening to this, BJ would have had to do terrible to be fired. BJ was just there. BJ was a major help with everything, and BJ is constantly going to be a part of Impact until I'm not a part of Impact, or until Impact is no longer. BJ, if I'm there, BJ's there.
Let's talk about the fights. Obviously, we saw Austin Trout in the first one, a former world champion. The fight, your second fight that you had scheduled, that was in Philadelphia, was me a real mouth-watering fight here in the city. Obviously, in Philadelphia, people were talking about Steven Ortiz against Damon Allen. We can see like a mix of fights. Being the first one was a bigger name in Trout. Maybe the next fight is going to be a battle of undefeated prospects or prospects trying to work their way up. We're going to see a mix of everything.
We're everywhere. We're have an undefeated night where everybody's is 10-0 and down. We have a guy who's 7-0 with 7 knockouts. We have a guy who's 21-0, and he won't be on that fight because it's guys that were for, I think it was 10 or 12-0 down, so he won't even be on that fight. The guy who's 21-0, Abel Mendoza, won't be on that fight. But we do a lot of themes at Impact. Hold on for a minute, please. We do a ton of themes at Impact, and I'm sorry, my phone went crazy for a minute. While we're doing themes at Impact, my phone was ringing, and there was some background noise. But we do a ton of themes at Impact, and when I say themes, we do like the rivalry. Like we have Mexico versus Puerto Rico. That's going to happen in January. We have undefeated themes. If you're 12 and if you have 12 fights and you're undefeated, we're going to match people up. We have championship nights when you're going to see Austin Trout and other former champions headline fights. So we're more of a theme-based situation. I want to keep everything exciting for the public, and I want to keep everything in a space that people are intrigued and want to watch, something that you're just not getting on other channels.
Yeah, it sounds like a terrific mix, some innovative ideas. And you said you brought up other channels. Just by reading, you're looking to do 40 plus, maybe up to 40 fight nights over a year period. Talk about that. I don't think many of the other networks or streaming services are being able to have that kind of ambitious schedule? Talk about that.
There's a lot of fight networks and there's a lot of channels that actually have great fights and they have big fights like Dante Wilder and ESPN with Bob Arum and with fighting Tyson Fury and the actual pay-per-view. There are a ton of big fights and there are a ton of big things going on. But that's here and there. That's not. And there's so many fighters out here that need to be built that we're gonna actually try to do a fight a week. We're gonna actually work with a ton of different promoters like Lou DiBella and probably Kathy Duva maybe and several other people we've been speaking to. Like I said, Golden Boy, TMT, Leonard Ellaby. And we're gonna stay active, competitive, the best fights. And we're going to do it on a free platform. We're on basic cable, so we're just going to do it every week. We're here really to entice people and intrigue people and bring the sport back to a visibility like Tuesday Night Fights was on USA.
It's funny when I was thinking about that. I was thinking a Tuesday Night Fights thing, and also it's funny. All your answers are like they're segueing into my next questions. I'm telling you, you must be seeing this. The thing is, Impact Network, 90 million homes, almost 90 million homes. How important is that? There aren't many networks out there that have that much that have that type of visibility. You're on every major cable distribution outlet. Talk about the Impact Network and the type of reach that it has.
Impact is great. Impact has, like you said, 89 million homes, 86 in the U.S., 3 million in the Bahamas. Impact is great for fighters. Showtime, 31 million homes, or maybe 32 premium cable carrier. I think DAZN has something similar with subscription, maybe 30 million homes. Really, really cool. I like that because that's really people are like, I have DAZN and you purchase that because you want to see Canelo. So that's the consistent fight fan, or you want to see Anthony Joshua, so you know why you're spending the money. PBC Fox has more. I think they're at 105, and ESPN has definitely more. I think they're at 105, but you have to purchase ESPN on a premium tier package, and I'm not sure what package PBC Fox Sports is on. They may be on a lower tier package. I just like where we're at because you don't have to be a fight fan, and you don't have to have a premium cable carrier to watch a fight. So if you're just scrolling through the channels and you're up at Saturday and it's 10:30 and you turn it on and you're intrigued, maybe I can convert a semi fan to a hardcore boxing fan. And that's what we need to do now, is the conversion of the novelist and the part-time fan to a full-time fan.
You mentioned Saturday night. Is that going to be the night of choice, or maybe Friday night, Saturday night, or is it definitely going to be Saturday nights?
It's Saturday nights at 10:30.
Oh,
that's
wow.
It. We're not moving.
You mentioned earlier in the broadcast your new show that Rick and Ryan and Royal have been working on, the Stars and Champions. What was the idea behind that? I mean, I've told you, I've texted you a couple times. I really enjoyed the first two shows. A lot of good information with the two fighters, and how important was getting a guy like Dan Rayfield, who's a stalwart in the business. ESPN USA Today to get him on board.
Well, Dan was a little bit more difficult to acquire in the initial. Sorry, I'm closing some doors. I'm home and I got a lot of people over here right now. So Dan wasn't initially hard to get to, but Dan is ESPN. He's a star. He's well respected and he deserves. He deserves all the attention he gets. And Dan is represented by a great agency, CAA. And it was just a negotiation process. And the process, luckily for us, worked out good, and we're just happy to have him. So we got lucky with that.
You mentioned Sean Porter and the various other guests the next couple of weeks. How do you see that show evolving? Do you see that maybe at some point maybe going to maybe a 1 hour format, or you like it in the 30-minute format right now?
I have no idea. I just know that the first week we had technical issues, and I wasn't happy with the first show, and I wasn't happy with the numbers on the first show. Last week the numbers came in, and the numbers doubled, like literally doubled. It's a big number now. And this week, if they double again, or not even double, because I don't think that would happen, but if I increase by another 20%, and I increase again by another 20%, then we may go to an hour. I do TV based on if the fans love it. I don't get attached to any television show or any particular format of a show. And this is something that the fans are taking to. So the more the fans take to it, the more I'm going to give them. So you may see Stars and Champions with Dan Rayfield, and you may see Stars and Champions, inside the ropes. You may see a little franchise with the Star and Champions logo. So we'll see.
All right. Well, that about touches it all. Anything you want to say in closing to the fans out there who are watching this about Stars and Champions, the Impact Boxing Series that I guess is going to come up once some of the states start allowing some fights going on. And I know you're going to be real quickly, one of the first fighters at one of the first fight shows out of the gate.
Oh yeah, we're back first. We're definitely coming back, hopefully before anybody else, not before anyone else. Hopefully in conjunction with everybody else, because we're not in a competition. We don't want to compete. We don't want to take anything away from any promoter or any network. The networks that have been doing things right now are extremely, extremely good networks. The promoters are extremely good promoters. We're happy for everybody, but we will be back quickly. And what would I want to say about Stars and Champions? Nothing. Stars and Champions speaks for itself. What I would like to say about Impact is I can't wait to get Austin Trout back in the ring. I can't wait to get the people that signed the Impact back in the ring. And I can't wait to get the fans quality fights for free. That's really where I'm focused at. And I can't wait to do some business with you in the near future. We would love to see you on the show. And we would love to see you participate in different ways on Impact. That's what we're about. We're about making sure that a true boxing fan and a true boxing journalist and a true boxing, whether you're the referee, the color commentator, whether you're the announcer, we want to make sure exactly what the title of this show is. We want to make stars out of everybody. Michael Buffer's a star. We need a couple of more Michael Buffers. You look at certain referees, their names one another. The Joe Cortezes and the Richard Steeles. We need a couple of more. We need to do what the WWE did and what UFC is currently doing. We need to make star quality products of people outside the ring, not only in the ring when they're fighting. Because then at that point, we will be able to transform the sport from an average base of 3 million hardcore fans to a legion of fans across the world. There's only one thing that is consistent in every country. If you ask somebody who's their favorite fighter, they'll know Muhammad Ali. They'll know Mike Tyson. They'll probably know Sugar Ray Leonard. They will know Sugar Ray Leonard. They'll know Evander Holyfield. They'll know Floyd Mayweather, of course. They'll know Oscar De La Hoya. But if you ask them who's the top 5 champions right now, the majority of people still think Floyd Mayweather is a champion.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. And it was that way for a while, when after Tyson left. I mean, a lot of people thought that he was still the baddest man on the planet, So they
right.
have to get indoctrinated into the new stars that we have today.
You're absolutely right. And we have to make a platform where we take the boxers that are in the ring and transform them outside the ring. If you look at, even though it's scripted, I won't use the word fake, but it's scripted because people get hurt. So it's not fake, but it's scripted. The WWE, they have Batista in the biggest movie of all time, The Avengers. They have the biggest star of all time,
The
The
Rock.
Rock.
Yep.
They have John Cena doing NBC. They have a ton. I'm sorry, somebody tried to call. They have John Cena doing NBC. They have a ton of people doing a ton of great shows there. And what we're missing in boxing is if you look at the UFC and say, why did the UFC get so popular so quick? The UFC had the ability to follow the blueprint of the WWE and make stars. So they made Ronda Rousey a big star. Overall, she wasn't a great fighter. Then they made Conor McGregor a superstar. Overall, I believe he's a good fighter. I just believe that, he got very comfortable along the way, but I believe he's a good fighter. Then, you have Khabib, and then you have, then they were smart. Then they started taking well-known names like Brock Lesnar, and they were making just big stars, cross-platform stars. And I tell anybody all the time, Impact is not a boxing channel. We are stars and champions. Our first step is to make stars. Because if you have, and this is just a question for you, since you've been questioning me all day, if you have Earl Spence doing a rematch with Sean Porter, or you have Kim Kardashian fighting Paris Hilton, who does bigger numbers that night?
Unfortunately, you know what my answer is going to be. Unfortunately, yeah.
So now you know what your answer is going to be.
Yep.
When you have great young fighters, great fighters, Devin Haney, incredible young man. At the Staples Center, he sold out on the undercard of a YouTube fight. So we're the only sport that has champions, but seldomly we have a star.
I agree. There, Canelo, maybe now Tyson Fury to an extent in this country, and you're right. You're absolutely right.
Tyson Fury's a star because of his antics. Tyson Fury's a star. He'll go out there and sing and serenade the crowd, and Tyson Fury loves the camera.
Yeah.
I got to